Imagine a peaceful village where life is simple, people are kind, and everything runs on faith and tradition. But one night, everything changes. Something sacred is stolen, and with it, the village loses its hope. And now only one man can bring it back. This is the story of Ong-Bak, Muay Thai Warrior, starring Tony Jaa as Ting, a quiet, humble fighter with unmatched skill. Released in 2003, directed by Pracha Pinkao and produced by Sahamongkol Film, this movie became legendary for its real action, no CGI, and brutal Muay Thai combat. If you want pure, raw martial arts, this film delivers. The story begins in a small Thai village called Ban Nong Pradu. The villagers deeply believe in a sacred Buddha statue known as Ong-Bak. They believe it protects them from harm, drought, and bad luck. But one night, thieves sneak into the village, and by morning, the unthinkable has happened. The head of the Ong-Bak statue is gone. Panic spreads everywhere. The villagers are terrified. Without the statue's head, they believe their village is cursed. Soon after, things start going wrong. Rain stops, crops begin to fail, and fear takes over. The elders gather and decide that someone must go to Bangkok to retrieve the stolen head. But there's a problem. No one wants to go. Bangkok for them is a dangerous and unfamiliar place, full of crime, corruption, and people they cannot trust. And then Ting steps forward. Ting is not just any villager. He was trained in Muay Thai by a respected monk, but unlike typical fighters, Ting follows strict rules. He never fights for money, never fights in anger, and never uses his skills to harm others unnecessarily. But this time, it's different. This isn't about pride or ego, it's about responsibility. Ting volunteers and promises, I will bring Ong-Bak back. The villagers collect money for him, give him supplies, and send him to Bangkok with one lead, a man named Humla, someone from their village who now lives in the city. Ting arrives in Bangkok and immediately feels out of place. The loud streets, neon lights, traffic, and chaos, it's nothing like his peaceful village. Everything feels fast, aggressive, and dangerous. He eventually finds Humla, but what he discovers shocks him. Humla is no longer the same person, he has changed. He now survives by scamming people, gambling, and doing small time illegal work. He even lies about his identity, calling himself George to fit in. Ting explains everything, the stolen Ong-Bak head, the suffering village, and his mission. But Homlai doesn't take it seriously. For him, survival in Bangkok matters more than old traditions. At first, he refuses to help, but Ting doesn't give up. Soon, Ting learns something important. The stolen statue head is connected to a powerful crime syndicate, a group that deals in illegal activities, including underground fighting rings. These fights are brutal. No rules, no mercy, just violence for money. Fighters are used like tools and discarded when they're no longer useful. Ting realizes that if he wants to recover Ong-Bak, he must enter this dark world. But there's a conflict inside him. He knows how to fight, but he was taught never to use it for violence. Bangkok forces him to question everything he believes in. One day, Ting witnesses a fight. A man is being beaten badly in a ring while people cheer and place bets. No one cares about the fighter's pain. That's when something inside Ting snaps. He steps into the ring. At first, people laugh at him, a simple village boy in a brutal fight arena. But then Ting's victory in the underground fight doesn't just end with cheers, it changes everything. Within hours, word begins to spread across Bangkok's hidden fight circuits. People start talking about a new fighter, fast, precise, and different from the rest. Unlike others who fight with rage or desperation, Ting fights with control. Through Tony Jaa's performance, Ting comes across as calm but dangerous, someone who doesn't belong in this violent world, yet somehow dominates it. Back in the shadows, the organizers of these illegal matches begin to take notice. For them, Ting isn't just a fighter, he's an opportunity, someone they can use to bring in more money, more bets, and more attention. Meanwhile, Ting doesn't care about fame or recognition. His focus remains locked on one thing, the stolen head of Ong-Bak. Every step he takes in this city is leading him closer to it, even if that path is covered in blood and danger. After the fight, Humla finally starts taking Ting seriously. At first, he tried to avoid helping him, thinking Ting would fail like anyone else from their village. But now everything is different. Humla realizes that Ting is his chance to gain something out of this situation too. He slowly begins to open up and reveals what he knows. According to him, the stolen Ong-Bak head didn't just disappear, it was sold into a larger criminal network. And at the top of that network is a powerful man named Komtuan. He isn't just a local thug, he controls multiple illegal businesses across Bangkok, including underground fighting rings, smuggling operations, and stolen artifacts. This is the moment Ting understands the scale of what he's dealing with. This isn't just a simple theft anymore, it's an entire system built on crime and exploitation. But instead of backing down, Ting becomes even more determined. If Komtuan is the one holding Ong-Bak, then that's exactly where Ting needs to go. However, reaching someone like Komtuan is nearly impossible for an outsider. There are layers of protection, loyal enforcers, and a network designed to keep people like Ting away. The only way in is through the fights. Each victory brings Ting closer to the inner circle. Each opponent he defeats earns him more attention from the people who matter. But this also means one thing: the fights are about to get much harder. The next match Ting enters is nothing like the first. This time, his opponent is bigger, stronger, and far more aggressive. The man doesn't just want to win, he wants to destroy Ting in front of the crowd. As the fight begins, Ting tries to maintain control, using defensive movements and calculated strikes. But his opponent doesn't give him space to think. Blow after blow comes at him with raw power. For the first time, Ting is pushed backward. The crowd senses it too. This is no longer a one-sided fight. As the pressure builds, Ting starts remembering his training, the discipline, the patience, the purpose behind every move. He realizes that Muay Thai isn't just about attacking, it's about balance, timing, precision. Slowly, he adapts. Instead of resisting the aggression, he uses it. He dodges at the last second, counters with sharp elbow strikes, and targets weak points with devastating knee attacks. The fight turns brutal but controlled. Every move Ting makes has meaning, and then in one decisive moment he lands a powerful strike that drops his opponent to the ground. The arena goes silent for a second, and then explodes with energy. Ting wins again, but this victory comes with a cost. He's starting to feel the weight of this world. The pain, the violence, it's beginning to test his limits, both physically and mentally. After the fight, Ting finally attracts the attention he was hoping for, but not in the way he expected. Some of Comtuan's men approach from a distance, observing him carefully. They don't attack, they don't speak, but their presence is enough to send a message: you've been noticed. This is exactly what Ting wanted, but it also means he's now stepping into far more dangerous territory. At the same time, Humla gets himself into trouble again. Trying to make quick money, he scams the wrong group of people, men who are connected to the same criminal network Ting is trying to infiltrate. Suddenly, Ting's mission becomes even more complicated. Now he's not just chasing Ong-Bak, he's also dealing with enemies who are starting to close in on him from all sides. One night, things escalate quickly. Humle is chased through the streets after being caught cheating, and Ting is forced to step in. What follows is a fast-paced chase across narrow alleys, crowded markets, and busy roads. Ting uses his agility and athleticism to escape, performing incredible stunts, jumping over obstacles, climbing structures, and outrunning pursuers. This sequence shows another side of Ting, not just a fighter, but someone with extraordinary physical ability. But even as they escape, the danger doesn't fade. Instead, it grows, because now they've made enemies who won't forget them easily. As Ting gets closer to Komtuan's network, he begins to see the darker side of Bangkok more clearly. Fighters being treated like disposable tools, people risking their lives for money, a system where power controls everything and weakness is crushed instantly. This is the complete opposite of the values Ting was raised with, and yet he has no choice but to move forward. His village is depending on him. Ong-Bak must be restored, no matter how dark the path becomes. By the end of this part, Ting stands at a crossroads. He is closer than ever to finding Ong-Bak, but also deeper than ever in danger. The enemies are stronger, the stakes are higher, and the line between right and wrong is starting to blur. The question is no longer just whether Ting can win fights. It's whether he can survive long enough to face Komtuan himself. Ting is no longer just a stranger in Bangkok, he's now a recognized name in the underground fight circuit. After multiple victories, his reputation continues to grow, and with that comes greater attention from dangerous people. Through Tony Jaa's intense performance, Ting now feels more focused than ever, but also more pressured. Every move he makes is being watched. Every fight is no longer just about survival, it's about proving himself to the powerful figures controlling this violent system. And most importantly, it's about getting one step closer to the stolen Ong-Bak head. Meanwhile, Humlai starts to feel the heat of the situation. What once felt like a small, scam-filled life has now turned into something much bigger and far more dangerous than he ever expected. As Ting continues fighting, he finally gets what he was aiming for, an invitation deeper into the inner circle of the underground operation. This isn't just a random fight arena anymore. This is where the real business happens. Wealthy gamblers, crime bosses, and dangerous enforcers gather here to watch brutal matches where fighters are pushed beyond their limits. It's here that Ting realizes just how powerful Komtuan really is. His influence is everywhere. People fear him, respect him, and most importantly, obey him without question. Ting understands that he is now very close to the man responsible for stealing Ong-Bak, but getting close also means risking everything. One wrong move, and he could lose his life before even getting the chance to complete his mission. In one of the most intense sequences so far, Ting is forced into a fight unlike any before. His opponent this time is not just strong but highly skilled and experienced in dirty fighting techniques. This man doesn't follow any rules. He uses illegal moves, hidden weapons, and brutal tactics designed to injure permanently. The fight starts aggressively, and Ting quickly realizes that this is a trap. This isn't just a match, it's a test. Someone wants to see if he can be broken. For the first time, Ting struggles to maintain control. He gets hit multiple times, pushed into corners, and forced to defend constantly. The crowd roars with excitement as the brutality increases. But inside Ting, something changes. He begins to understand that in this world, holding back too much could mean failure, not just for him, but for his entire village. Drawing from his training, Ting shifts his approach. He stops reacting emotionally and starts thinking strategically. He observes his opponent's patterns, waits for the right moment, and then strikes with precision. His elbows cut through defenses, his knees land with devastating impact, and his movements become sharper than ever before. The fight turns into a battle of endurance and willpower. And finally, after an exhausting exchange, Ting delivers a powerful finishing move that knocks his opponent down for good. The arena explodes with noise, but this time the reaction is different. There's respect and also fear. Ting is no longer just entertainment. He's becoming a threat. After the fight, something important happens. Ting is quietly approached by one of Comtuan's key men. There are no introductions, no friendly gestures, just a cold, serious message. They know who he is, they know why he's here, and most importantly, they are watching him closely. This confirms Ting's suspicions. He is now directly on Comtuan's radar. But instead of being afraid, Ting feels closer to his goal than ever before. However, this also means he's running out of time. The deeper he goes, the harder it will be to escape. And if Comtuan decides to eliminate him, there will be no second chances. At the same time, Humla's situation gets worse. His past actions catch up to him, and he ends up owing money to the wrong people. Desperate and scared, he tries to run. But Bangkok is not a place where you can easily escape your mistakes. Ting is forced to step in once again, not just as a fighter, but as someone trying to protect the only connection he has in this city. This adds even more pressure to his mission. Now he's not only fighting for Ong-Bak, but also trying to survive alongside someone who keeps dragging him into trouble. As night falls, Ting finally gets a glimpse of the truth he's been chasing. Through careful observation and risk-taking, he discovers a location linked directly to Comtuan's operations. A hidden place where stolen artifacts are kept. Among those items, he briefly sees something that stops him cold. A statue head, similar in shape and size to Ong-Bak. His heart starts racing. He's closer than ever. But before he can act, armed guards move in, forcing him to retreat. The danger is clear. This isn't just about getting the statue back anymore. This is a fortress controlled by powerful criminals who won't hesitate to kill. By the end of this part, Ting stands on the edge of his biggest challenge yet. He has finally found a real lead, proof that Ong-Bak is within reach. But the path ahead is filled with stronger enemies, tighter security, and deadly consequences. The mission is no longer just difficult, it's nearly impossible. The question now is, can Ting break through Comtuan's empire and reclaim what was stolen, or will he become another victim of this ruthless world? Ting now knows one thing for sure. The stolen Ong-Bak head is within reach. That brief glimpse inside Comtuan's hidden storage has changed everything. It's no longer just a rumor or a distant goal. It's real. But getting to it won't be easy. The place is heavily guarded, filled with armed men, surveillance, and layers of protection designed to keep outsiders away. Through Tony Jaa's character Ting, we now see a shift. He's no longer just reacting to situations. He's starting to think ahead, plan, and prepare. For the first time since arriving in Bangkok, Ting begins to act not just as a fighter, but as someone on a calculated mission. Meanwhile, Humla becomes a major problem again. His debts and bad decisions finally catch up to him in the worst way possible. He is captured by men connected to Comtuan's network after trying to run away. This instantly puts Ting in a difficult position. He came to Bangkok for Ong-Bak, not to rescue Humla, but despite everything, Ting cannot abandon him. Humla may be flawed, selfish, and unreliable, but he is still the only link Ting has in this dangerous city. This forces Ting to make a risky decision. He must save Humla first before going after the statue, because without him, navigating Bangkok's criminal world would become nearly impossible. Ting tracks down the location where Humla is being held, leading him straight into another dangerous environment, an illegal fight arena even more brutal than the ones before. This isn't a public place filled with cheering crowds. This is darker, more violent, and far less forgiving. Fighters here aren't just competing, they're being punished. When Ting arrives, he quickly realizes that this situation is a trap. The people behind this already know who he is. They've been watching him, studying his movements, and now they want to test him again. Only this time the stakes are higher. It's not about entertainment anymore, it's about control. Without hesitation, Ting steps forward to face the challenge. If he wants Humla back, he has to fight. But this fight is different from anything he has faced before. Instead of one opponent, he is forced to deal with multiple attackers, each coming at him with aggression and no rules. Weapons are involved. The environment itself is dangerous. Tight spaces, obstacles, and constant pressure from all sides. Ting is pushed to his absolute limits. Every movement has to be perfect. Every mistake could be fatal. But this is where Ting truly evolves. He combines everything he has learned, his discipline, his speed, his awareness, and turns it into something unstoppable. One by one, he takes down his enemies with precise, powerful strikes, refusing to lose control even in the chaos. The fight is intense, exhausting, and brutal, but Ting survives. Not just survives, he dominates. And in doing so, he sends a message to everyone watching. He is not someone to underestimate. He is not just another fighter. He is a force that cannot be controlled. After the fight, Ting finally reaches Humla and frees him. But this victory comes with consequences. By stepping into this trap and winning, Ting has officially declared himself as a direct threat to Comtuan's empire. There's no going back now. He is no longer moving in the shadows. He is now a target. As Ting and Humla escape, the tension between them grows. Humla begins to realize the seriousness of everything that's happening. This is no longer about quick money or small scams. Lives are at stake. Ting, on the other hand, becomes more focused than ever. He knows time is running out. The more attention he attracts, the harder it will be to reach Ong-Bak without being stopped. But instead of backing down, Ting becomes even more determined. His mission is clear, and nothing, not fear, not enemies, not even death, will stop him. Towards the end of this part, Ting prepares for his next move. He now has more information about Comtuan's operations, the security around the storage location, and the kind of men he's up against. This is no longer about random fights, it's about a final confrontation that is slowly approaching. Ting stands at the edge of the biggest challenge of his life. Ahead of him lies a powerful enemy, a heavily guarded stronghold, and a mission that seems nearly impossible. But one thing is certain, Ting is ready. Ting has now crossed a line that cannot be undone. By defeating multiple fighters, rescuing Humla, and drawing direct attention from the criminal network, he is no longer just an outsider trying to retrieve a stolen artifact. He has become a serious threat. Through Tony Jaa's powerful portrayal, Ting now feels more intense, more focused, and far more dangerous than before. The calm village fighter is still there, but now it's mixed with experience, pain, and determination built through every brutal fight he has survived in Bangkok. He knows that time is running out. The longer he waits, the harder it will be to reach Ong-Bak. And now, with Komtuan fully aware of his presence, every step forward becomes more dangerous than the last. After escaping the trap, Ting and Humla find a temporary place to hide. For the first time, there is a moment of quiet, but it doesn't feel like peace. It feels like the calm before something much worse. Humla, shaken by everything that has happened, finally begins to change. He realizes that his selfish actions have only made things worse, not just for himself, but for Ting as well. For the first time, he genuinely apologizes. He admits that he was wrong to ignore the importance of Ong-Bak and the suffering of their village. Ting doesn't respond with anger. Instead, he stays silent, focused. His mission has always been clear, and now more than ever, he cannot afford distractions. But deep down, this moment strengthens their bond. For the first time, they are not just two people from the same village. They are partners trying to survive in a world that wants to destroy them. With new determination, they begin planning their next move. Humlai shares everything he knows about Comtoine's operations, the routes, the guards, the hidden locations. Piece by piece, the puzzle starts coming together. Ting now understands that the storage location he saw earlier is only one part of a much larger system. Ong-Bak's head is being kept under heavy protection, possibly moved between locations to avoid detection. This makes things even more complicated. Ting can't just rush in blindly. He needs perfect timing. One mistake could mean losing the statue forever. So instead of jumping straight into action, Ting does something unexpected. He waits, he observes, he studies the movements of the guards and the routines of the operation. This patience shows how much he has grown. He's no longer just reacting, he's thinking like a strategist. But while Ting prepares, Comtuan makes his move. Inside his hidden base, Comtuan finally speaks about Ting. He isn't impressed, he's annoyed. To him, Ting is not a hero or a threat, just a problem that needs to be removed. But instead of dealing with him directly, Comtuan decides to play a different game. He orders his men to bring Ting in alive, not to negotiate, but to break him. Comtuan wants to prove that no one can challenge his power and walk away. This decision sets up the next phase of the conflict, because now Ting isn't just hunting for Ong-Bak, he's being hunted too. Soon after the attack comes, Ting and Humlai are ambushed in the middle of the city. This isn't a random encounter, it's a coordinated strike. Multiple men surround them, blocking every possible escape route. The streets turn into a battlefield. Without hesitation, Ting steps forward, ready to fight once again. But this time, something is different. These men are trained, disciplined, and working together. They are not reckless fighters. They are professionals. The fight that follows is fast, intense, and relentless. Ting is forced to use everything he has: his speed, his strength, his instincts. He dodges attacks, counters with precision, and uses the environment to his advantage. Walls, vehicles, narrow spaces, everything becomes part of the fight. Despite the overwhelming odds, Ting manages to hold his ground, but even he cannot fight forever. The numbers are too many. The pressure is constant. Slowly, the situation becomes more dangerous. And then something unexpected happens. Instead of continuing the fight, Ting makes a quick decision. He escapes. Using his agility and awareness, he creates an opening and pulls Humlai out of the trap. They run through the streets, chased by enemies who refuse to give up. This sequence becomes a high-speed chase filled with obstacles, tension, and near escapes. Ting pushes himself beyond his limits, proving that survival isn't just about fighting, it's about knowing when to move. After barely escaping, Ting realizes something important. This is no longer just a mission to retrieve Ong-Bak. This is a war. Kom Tuan has made his move, and now there is no turning back. The final confrontation is coming closer with every passing moment. Ting stands at the center of it all, alone against a powerful empire built on violence and control. But even now he does not hesitate. His purpose is stronger than fear, his determination is stronger than pain, and most importantly, he is ready for whatever comes next. The situation has now reached a point where there is no safety left for Ting anywhere in Bangkok. After the ambush, it becomes clear that Kom Tuan is no longer observing from the shadows, he is actively hunting. Through Tony Jaa's performance, Ting now carries a different energy. He is still calm on the surface, but inside there is a growing intensity. Every fight, every escape, every close call has shaped him into something far more dangerous than when he first arrived. He is no longer just trying to recover the Ong-Bak head. He is now fighting to survive long enough to reach it. And at the same time, he must protect Humla, who is slowly realizing that this situation is far beyond anything he ever imagined. After their narrow escape, Ting and Humla go into hiding again, but this time they know it won't last long. Comtuan's network is too powerful, too connected. There are eyes everywhere. So instead of waiting to be attacked again, Ting decides to take control of the situation. He convinces Humlai that they cannot keep running. If they want to end this, they must strike directly at the source. This marks a major turning point. For the first time, Ting is not reacting to danger. He is choosing to face it head on. Humla, though scared, agrees. He understands now that there is no escape unless they finish what they started. Using the information Humla has gathered over time, they identify a key location, one of Comtuan's major operation points. This place is not just a storage site, it's a hub where illegal deals happen, fighters are managed, and stolen goods are processed before being moved elsewhere. Ting believes that if Ong-Bak's head is still in the city, it must pass through this location at some point. But getting inside will be extremely dangerous. The building is heavily guarded with armed men, surveillance systems, and strict control over who enters and leaves. Still, Ting doesn't hesitate. He prepares himself mentally and physically for what could be the most difficult challenge yet. Night falls and the operation begins. Ting approaches the location carefully, observing every detail, the guard patterns, the blind spots, the movement of vehicles. This is not like his earlier fights. This requires patience and precision. For a moment, everything is silent. Then slowly, Ting makes his move. He slips past the outer guards using timing and stealth, something we haven't seen him rely on much before. It shows his growth, not just as a fighter, but as a strategist. Inside, the atmosphere is tense. The building is filled with activity, men talking, weapons being moved, deals being made. Ting stays hidden, moving step by step, getting closer to the inner area where valuable items are kept. But things don't go as planned. Just as Ting reaches deeper inside, an alarm is triggered. It's unclear whether it was a mistake or a setup, but suddenly everything changes. Guards begin searching the area, communication spreads quickly, and exits start closing. Ting is no longer sneaking, he's trapped. Within seconds, he is surrounded. What started as a stealth mission turns into a full-scale confrontation. Without any choice left, Ting steps out of the shadows, and the fight begins. This battle is different from anything before. The environment is tight, filled with obstacles, and enemies attack from all directions. Some carry weapons, others rely on brute strength, but all of them are dangerous. Ting moves with incredible speed, using every part of his body as a weapon: elbows, knees, kicks, and precise strikes that take down opponents one after another. The intensity is relentless. There's no pause, no break, no room for error. Every second matters. And despite being outnumbered, Ting refuses to fall. His determination pushes him forward, turning defense into offense, chaos into control. Meanwhile, outside the building, Humla waits nervously. He can hear the sounds of chaos from inside, shouting, crashing, fighting. He knows Ting is in danger, but he also knows that going inside would only make things worse. This moment highlights how much things have changed. Earlier, Humla would have run away without thinking twice. But now he stays, he waits, because for the first time he truly cares about the outcome, not just for himself but for Ting and their mission. Back inside, Ting fights his way through wave after wave of enemies until he finally reaches a restricted area. This place is different, more secure, more guarded. It's clear that something important is kept here. Ting's heart starts racing. He moves forward carefully, and then he sees it: a collection of stolen artifacts, statues, antiques, sacred objects from different places, and among them something that looks exactly like the head of Ong-Bak. For a brief moment, everything slows down. Ting steps closer, hope rising inside him. After everything he has been through, he is finally face to face with what he came for. But just as he reaches out, a voice stops him. Comtuan's men appear, armed, calm, and ready. This wasn't just bad luck. This was a setup. They were waiting for him. And now, Ting is surrounded at the very place he fought so hard to reach. The mission is closer than ever, but also more dangerous than it has ever been. Ting stands frozen for a split second, not out of fear, but realization. Everything that just happened, the infiltration, the alarm, the perfectly timed response, it wasn't a coincidence. It was a trap. Comtuan's network didn't just discover Ting, they studied him, predicted him, and finally pulled him exactly where they wanted. Surrounded by armed men inside the heavily guarded chamber, Ting now faces his most dangerous situation yet. Through Tony Jaa's intense presence, we see a fighter who understands that this moment could decide everything: his mission, his survival, and the fate of Ong-Bak. The room is filled with tension. Guards slowly close in from every direction, weapons ready, eyes locked on Ting. At the center of it all lies the object he came for: the head of Ong-Bak, placed among other stolen artifacts like it's just another item for trade. That sight alone fuels Ting's determination. He didn't come this far to fail now, but this isn't a fight he can rush into blindly. For the first time, Ting is forced to pause, not because he's weak, but because he's thinking. Every move must be perfect, every second counts. One mistake here could mean losing everything forever. Then, without warning, the attack begins. The guards move in all at once, trying to overwhelm him with numbers and force. But Ting reacts instantly. His body moves on instinct, shaped by years of training and everything he has endured in Bangkok. He dodges the first strike, counters with a sharp elbow, spins into a kick, and uses the environment to create space. The fight explodes into chaos. Tables break, objects scatter, and the tight room turns into a battlefield. Ting fights like never before, not holding back, not hesitating. His movements are faster, more aggressive, yet still controlled. Every strike is precise, every motion has purpose, but the enemies don't stop. More men pour into the room, some carry weapons, others attack from blind angles, trying to break his rhythm. Ting is pushed again and again, forced to defend from all sides. He takes hits, real painful hits, but he doesn't fall. Instead, he adapts. He uses his surroundings, turning obstacles into advantages. Walls become tools, objects become shields, and narrow spaces become traps for his opponents. This is no longer just a fight, it's survival at its highest level. Meanwhile, outside, Humla realizes something is wrong. The silence has turned into distant chaos. He knows Ting is inside, surrounded, possibly outnumbered. Fear tells him to run, but something stronger holds him back. For the first time in his life, Humlai makes a different choice. Instead of escaping, he decides to help. It's not a perfect plan. He doesn't suddenly become brave or skilled, but he understands that leaving now would mean losing everything, including himself. Slowly, nervously, he moves toward the building, stepping into danger he once avoided at all costs. Back inside, Ting continues to fight, pushing through exhaustion. His breathing becomes heavier, his movements slightly slower, but his focus never breaks. He knows the Ong-Bak head is right there. He just needs one opening, and then it happens. In a brief moment of distraction, Ting creates space, knocks back two attackers, and dives toward the artifact. His hand reaches it, finally. But before he can escape, a powerful strike hits him from behind. Ting crashes to the ground, the Ong-Bak head slipping from his grasp. The room falls silent. From the shadows, a new figure steps forward, one of Komtuan's top enforcers, stronger, faster, and far more dangerous than anyone Ting has faced so far. This man isn't just another fighter. He's a weapon trained to eliminate threats like Ting. And now they stand face to face. The final battle begins. This fight is on a completely different level. Every exchange is brutal, every move calculated. Ting tries to regain control, but his opponent matches him step for step. Blocks, counters, heavy strikes, neither of them gives an inch. The intensity rises with every second. Ting is no longer fighting multiple enemies. He's facing someone who can actually challenge him directly, someone who understands fighting just as deeply as he does. For a moment, it feels like Ting might lose. But then something shifts. Ting remembers why he's here, not for pride, not for revenge, but for his village, for Ong-Bak. That purpose gives him strength beyond exhaustion. He refocuses, steadies his breathing, and begins to fight smarter, not harder. He studies his opponent's movements, waits for the right moment, Ting finally holds the Ong-Bak head in his hands, the very thing he crossed cities, fought countless enemies, and risked his life for. For a brief moment, everything feels still. The chaos, the fights, the danger, it all fades into the background. But that moment doesn't last long, because deep inside Comtuan's stronghold, peace is impossible. Through Tony Jaa's intense presence, we now see a man who has achieved his goal, but is still trapped inside the enemy's territory. And here, winning the mission is only half the battle. Surviving it is the real challenge. The silence is suddenly broken by alarms echoing through the building. Red lights flash across the walls, and voices shout commands from every direction. Ting's position has been fully exposed. There is no more hiding, no more strategy, only escape. Clutching the Ong-Bak head tightly, Ting moves fast, scanning for an exit. But Comtuan's men are already mobilizing. Doors begin to lock, corridors fill with guards, and the entire building turns into a trap designed to capture him. This isn't just about stopping Ting anymore, it's about making sure he never leaves alive. Without hesitation, Ting makes his move. He charges forward, using speed and precision to break through the first wave of guards. His strikes are quick and efficient. No wasted motion, no unnecessary fights. He knows he cannot afford to slow down. Every second counts. The fights are shorter but more intense. Enemies come at him from all sides, but Ting keeps moving, using his environment to his advantage, jumping over obstacles, sliding through tight spaces, and turning narrow corridors into escape routes. The Ong-Bak head never leaves his grip, no matter how dangerous the situation becomes. Meanwhile, outside the building, Humla is caught in his own moment of fear and courage. He sees guards rushing in, hears the alarms, and realizes that Ting is in deeper trouble than ever before. For a second, his old instincts tell him to run, to disappear and save himself. But this time, he doesn't. Everything he has seen, everything Ting has done has changed him. He knows that if he runs now, he will lose more than just a friend. He will lose any chance of redemption. Gathering what little courage he has, Humla decides to help, even if it means putting himself directly in danger. Back inside, Ting reaches a critical point in his escape. He finds himself in a large open area. An exit is visible but heavily guarded. This is the final barrier. Multiple armed men stand between him and freedom. There is no way around them, no hidden path, no shortcut. Ting stops for a moment, catching his breath. His body is exhausted, his injuries are catching up to him, but his grip on the Ong-Bak head remains firm. This is it, the final push. With a deep breath, Ting steps forward. The fight that follows is one of the most intense yet. The gods attack in coordination, trying to overwhelm him with numbers and weapons. But Ting doesn't hold back anymore. Every strike he delivers carries the weight of his entire journey. His elbows hit harder, his knees strike faster, his movements sharper than ever before. He doesn't fight recklessly, he fights with purpose. One by one, the guards fall. Some try to block his path, others try to trap him, but none can stop him completely. Even when he gets hit, even when he stumbles, he keeps moving forward, because stopping now means losing everything. At the same time, Humla creates a distraction from outside. It's not perfect, not planned, but it's enough. A sudden interruption pulls some guards away, creating a brief opening. That moment is all Ting needs. With one final burst of energy, he breaks through the last line of defense and reaches the exit. For the first time since entering the building, he's out, but the escape isn't over. As Ting and Humla regroup, they realize that Comtuan's reach goes far beyond that building. Cars begin to follow them. Men chase them through the streets. The entire city feels like it's closing in. What follows is a high-speed escape through Bangkok, running through crowded areas, jumping across obstacles, and barely avoiding capture at every turn. Ting pushes himself beyond his limits, protecting the Ong-Bak head while making sure Humla doesn't fall behind. But even as they escape, one thing becomes clear. Comtuan will not let this go. Ting may have taken back Ong-Bak, but now he has started something much bigger. A final confrontation is coming. And next time, there may be no escape. Ting and Humla are now racing through the streets of Bangkok, the stolen Ong-Bak head clutched tightly in Ting's hands. The city that once seemed like a labyrinth of opportunity has now transformed into a deadly gauntlet. Through Tony Jaa's incredible physicality, Ting moves with unparalleled speed, leaping over barriers, sliding under obstacles, and vaulting across vehicles. Every step is a battle against not just Kom Tuan's men, but also the chaotic environment around them. Crowded streets, narrow alleys, and bustling markets that make every move unpredictable. For the first time, Ting realizes that reclaiming Ong-Bak was only half the challenge. Surviving the escape is an entirely different war. Meanwhile, Humla, though terrified, struggles to keep up. He has never been tested like this before. Every turn, every jump, every decision requires courage he doesn't naturally possess. Yet, despite his fear, Humla begins to fight alongside Ting, creating small diversions, distracting their pursuers, and doing what he can to help. This growth is crucial. He is no longer the selfish comic relief sidekick. He has become part of a team, relying on Ting while contributing in ways that keep them both alive. Their relationship evolves in these moments, showing that survival depends not just on strength but trust and timing. The chase escalates further when Kom Tuan himself arrives at the scene. In a sleek black car, he follows closely, orchestrating the pursuit with a precision that only someone in control could achieve. Ting realizes that Kom Tuan is not going to let them leave the city with Ong-Bak easily. Every exit is blocked, every alley patrolled. The pressure is immense, and for the first time Ting has to rely not just on his fists and agility, but on strategy. He calculates routes, anticipates attacks, and uses the environment, rooftops, staircases, narrow bridges, to gain temporary advantages over the relentless chase. Each moment is high stakes, each second could be the last. During the escape, they are cornered on a busy bridge spanning the river. Kom Tuan's men close in from all sides, and there's no clear way out. Ting stops for a brief second to assess the situation. The Ong-Bak head is still safe, but Humla is dangerously close to being captured. With adrenaline pumping, Ting makes a split-second decision. He must fight his way through, no matter the cost. What follows is one of the most brutal and cinematic sequences yet. Ting uses every technique he's mastered: flying kicks, elbow strikes, knee attacks, flips, and grapples, turning the bridge into a battlefield. Each move is calculated, precise, and lethal, but also cinematic and spectacular, showing the full range of his Muay Thai mastery. Guards fall one by one, some narrowly missing him, some landing hits, yet Ting never loses focus on the mission: survival and the protection of Ong-Bak. Finally, after relentless combat, Ting and Humla find a way off the bridge, disappearing into the chaotic streets. They are battered, bruised, and exhausted, but alive. For a brief moment, it seems the worst is over. The Ong-Bak head is safe, and they have survived yet another confrontation. But Ting knows better. Kom Tuan is still out there. He is not defeated, and the war is far from over. Ting's journey has taken him to the edge of physical endurance, mental strength, and moral courage. He has fought not just for survival, but for honor, justice, and the pride of his village. As they regroup in a safe location, Ting reflects on everything that has happened so far. The battles, the escapes, the sacrifices, they have all prepared him for the final confrontation. Kom Tuan's empire may be powerful, his enforcers brutal, but Ting's determination is stronger. He understands now that the only way to truly reclaim Ong-Bak and restore honor is to confront Kom Tuan directly. There is no more running, no more dodging. The final battle is inevitable, and Ting is ready to face it head on. The tension builds to an almost unbearable level. Bangkok becomes a stage for the climax of this story, a place where loyalty, strength, and courage will collide in a battle that will decide not just the fate of Ong-Bak, but the fate of everyone who has been caught in Kom Tuan's shadow. Ting is not just a fighter anymore. He is a force of nature, a storm rising against oppression, and soon the final storm is about to break. The tension in Bangkok reaches its peak. Ting stands in the heart of Komtuan's heavily fortified fortress, the stolen Ong-Bak head clutched tightly in his hands. Every scar on his body tells the story of his journey. Every bruise, every broken bone, every late night escape has led him to this exact moment. The city outside hums with life, oblivious to the chaos that has unfolded within these walls, but inside, the air is thick with anticipation. Through Tony Jaa's commanding presence, Ting is no longer the naive village fighter who first arrived in Bangkok. He is now a master of Muay Thai, agility, and strategy. Each movement he makes radiates focus, power, and intent. Kom Tuan finally emerges from the shadows. He is calm, cold, and calculated, flanked by his elite enforcers who exude menace. Every eye in the fortress locks on Ting, knowing this confrontation could decide everything. Kom Tuan's voice cuts through the silence. You've come far, too far, but this is where it ends. There is no tremor in his tone, no hesitation. He moves with the confidence of a man who has built an empire on fear, control, and violence. Ting doesn't answer. He doesn't need to. Every heartbeat, every subtle shift of muscle, every glance communicates readiness. For the first time, the fortress seems alive in a new way, as if it too senses the collision of two unstoppable forces. Humla stands behind him, trembling, but this time not out of cowardice. He has seen the transformation in Ting. He knows now that survival, courage, and determination can outweigh even the most powerful enemies. Without warning, the fight erupts. Ting launches forward, he strikes a perfect balance of speed, power, and precision. Elbows smash, knees hit with devastating impact, and spinning kicks knock enemies aside. Komtuan blocks and counters with equal skill, turning the confrontation into a breathtaking duel. Every move is a test of strength, every strike a lesson in technique. The enforcers attempt to intervene, but Ting neutralizes them with astonishing efficiency. They fall before him, some stunned, some incapacitated, yet none can stop him entirely. The fortress becomes a battlefield. Walls shatter, furniture crashes, and narrow corridors turn into traps that Ting navigates with uncanny agility. He flips, rolls, and pivots, using his environment as an extension of his combat style. Every obstacle becomes an opportunity, every attack a calculated risk. Comtuan's fighting style contrasts with Ting's. While Ting relies on fluidity and adaptability, Comtuan uses raw power and precision, striking with deadly intent. Their clash becomes a dance of skill and willpower. Every punch, every block, every kick is a conversation, a battle for supremacy. Ting is pushed to the edge. He takes hits that would have felled an ordinary man, but he refuses to yield. Sweat and blood mix on his body. His breathing becomes heavier, but his determination only intensifies. For the first time in the fight, Ting senses a slight opening. Comtuan overextends on a spinning strike, leaving a brief vulnerability. Ting's eyes sharpen. The opening is fleeting, but Ting doesn't hesitate. He strikes with everything he has learned from every fight, every obstacle, and every trial he endured in Bangkok. A combination of precise elbows, crushing knees, and a spinning kick lands squarely. Comtuan is forced back, the power behind Ting's attack undeniable. The fortress seems to hold its breath. Ting continues relentless, driving Comtuan step by step into the center of the hall. It's a battle not just of skill, but of endurance, strategy, and willpower. Ting's movements are faster, his strikes sharper, his focus absolute. Komtuan tries to regain control, but the relentless intensity of Ting's assault begins to shift the momentum. Meanwhile, Humla watches from the sidelines, holding his breath. He knows he cannot directly intervene, but he sees the courage and precision with which Ting fights. This moment marks the full transformation of their journey. Ting's bravery has become an inspiration, not just for himself but for everyone who believed in him. Humlai realizes that he has grown too. He no longer fears the impossible because he now understands that with focus, skill, and courage, even the most insurmountable odds can be challenged. As Ting drives Comtuan back, the enforcers attempt one last desperate attack. They rush forward in coordination, trying to overwhelm him with numbers. Ting reacts instantly, combining acrobatics with martial precision. He flips over attacks, ducks under strikes, and counters with elbows and knees. The speed, skill, and raw power of his movements are astonishing. One by one, the enforcers fall, incapacitated or fleeing. The fortress shakes under the intensity of the combat. Ting's determination fuels every strike. Every movement carries the weight of his village's honor, the lives at stake, and the pride of reclaiming Ong-Bak. Finally, after an exhausting exchange, Ting sees the decisive moment. Comtuan miscalculates. A brief but critical lapse in defense. Ting seizes the opportunity, delivering a final devastating combination. Elbow strikes to the ribs, a knee to the torso, and a spinning kick that knocks Comtuan to the ground. Silence descends over the fortress. The once imposing criminal empire is now powerless. Ting stands over Comtuan, breathing heavily, every muscle tense but victorious. The Ong-Bak head remains secure in his hands, the symbol of his mission accomplished, his village's pride restored. Homlay rushes forward, relief flooding his face. He clasps Ting's shoulder, a silent acknowledgement of survival, bravery, and teamwork. They have both been transformed by the journey, Ting into a master fighter and hero, Homlay into a loyal and courageous ally. The two exit the fortress together, stepping into the morning light. Bangkok stretches before them, alive and bustling, unaware of the epic battle that has just taken place in its streets. The city is free of Comtuan's immediate control, at least for now. As they walk away, the Ong-Bak head safely in their possession, Ting reflects on the path that brought him here. Every fight, every setback, every close call was part of a larger test, testing not just his strength, but his courage, patience, and determination. He has faced nearly impossible odds, survived ambushes, battled elite fighters, and confronted a criminal empire with his own skills and ingenuity. And through it all, he has emerged victorious. This is not merely about reclaiming a stolen artifact, it is about honor, resilience, and justice. The sun rises higher over Bangkok, bathing the city in a warm glow. Ting holds the Ong-Bak head, the weight of the journey heavy in his hands but also a symbol of triumph. Humlai walks beside him, forever changed by the experience, their bond stronger than ever. The streets hum with life as Bangkok awakens to a new day, a world that will never know the true story of the battles fought in shadowy alleys, underground arenas, and fortified strongholds. But Ting knows. He has earned every moment of peace, every ounce of pride, and every memory of the struggle. As the final scene closes, Ting pauses on a rooftop overlooking the city. His expression is calm but resolute. The Ong-Bak head rests safely in his hands, and the knowledge of victory radiates in his posture. He is no longer just a fighter from a village. He is a hero, a symbol of courage and mastery. The journey has tested him in every way imaginable, but in the end, His determination, skill, and unwavering focus have triumphed. Bangkok's chaos continues, but for Ting, the storm has passed. His village's pride is restored, his mission complete, and the legend of Ong-Bak lives on.